This is all that's left of a local printing press. The business completely destroyed by flames for the second time.
And just wish the best that I can find a job. I've been, like I said, I pound the pavement, go on the computer, do cold calls, word of mouth by other people if I hear something.
What it's like to find work in our city with no luck. Windsor's unemployment rate now tops in the country, and it's taking a major toll. A live look outside on downtown Windsor. We're hovering around 1 degree right now. Snowfall yesterday, but no flakes falling from the sky as we look out on the city. Colette Kennedy has the full forecast later tonight. I'm Chris Ensing. Thanks for joining us. For the second time in less than 2 years, a fire has destroyed a local printing business in Windsor. Hogan's Printing set up shop on Tecumseh Road after a fire destroyed their place on Drouillard Road in 2018. Yesterday, their new location went up in flames. Dale Molnar standing by live at the location tonight. Dale, what can you tell us?
Well, Chris, the fire is still under investigation. The cause is still under investigation. So fire officials tell us it's too early to tell what happened. But as you can see behind me, you're taking a look at the back of the building here. Just like last time on Drouillard Road, the shop here near the corner of Lincoln Road is a total loss.
Okay, well, we can't stop. We've got to move forward. We have 13.
And move forward they did. This is what Hogan's Printing Shop in the 1600 block of Tecumseh Road East looked like just after they moved in November of 2018. It was just about a month after a fire destroyed their location on Drouillard Road. But yesterday, just before 7:30 in the morning, tragedy struck again. Firefighters and police responded to a raging fire at the new location, just near the corner of Lincoln Road. The intersection was blocked for several hours. Fire officials say they did have some trouble getting a handle on the fire.
I think the main concern would be to stop it from spreading to the adjacent units. I know there was a parapet wall or a fire stop between the bank and that suite or that unit, but there was fire in the parapet, so the crews had to take that wall down.
2 fire investigators with the Ontario Fire Marshal's office and 1 with Windsor Fire and Rescue were on scene today, combing through the debris, trying to find out how the fire started.
The most significant area of burning is in the rear. Again, I don't know what caused that. There was some reports early that the gas line ruptured, and that would certainly contribute to the fire damage, or the intensity of the fire.
Windsor Police arson investigators are on scene too, but so far no one can say if this was deliberately set. Police are looking for any witnesses and video surveillance footage to help with the investigation. There was smoke and water damage to the CIBC bank next door, which remained closed today. No one was available for comment, but a sign on the door directs customers to other branches. The ATMs remain open. The dress shop next door sustained some smoke damage, but a person from the store said the dresses were not damaged. The Hogan family is waiting for the outcome of the investigation before going on camera, but they did release a brief statement. "My family and myself are devastated," writes co-owner Dan Hogan. "We worked so hard to overcome the other fire in October. All our family has done is try to support and service the community the best we can. We are feeling very defeated this morning." And the Hogan family is very well known in the community. They hold a charity golf tournament every year to benefit the Cancer Center. Last time this happened, Doug Hogan told us that the community rallied around them in support. So there's no reason to believe that that won't happen again this time. Damage here is estimated in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, but this time, as last time, luckily there were no injuries. Chris?
Thanks, Dale. CBC's Dale Molnar live tonight. There's now more people in Windsor looking for work than anywhere else in the country. The city's unemployment rate is the highest in Canada. And for some who are looking for work, hearing the newest statistics, it's only making things worse. Stacey Janzer has more.
The whole system has broken down since I've been here since 1979, so in Windsor, and it's not the same as it used to be.
Cynthia Van Veroof is at the Unemployed Help Center looking to update her resume. She's been out of a job for a few months after leaving the morning shift at the downtown McDonald's. The problem is it's more than just about finding employment.
A lot of people, it's all combined into everything, like from our social aspect and the entire thing, from Ontario Works, just Ontario ODSP, places like that, people have to rely on those. Sorry, I get teary-eyed.
It's okay.
The homeless rate out there is really sad for a city our size to see people on the street in wintertime. And a lot of them maybe not be educated, like myself or others, that can go out and look for a job or have the opportunity to go for a job.
There are other issues for her. She relies on the bus and has concerns about how employers view her age.
I'm 48, and a lot of places don't look like our potential at our age, like in our age, my age group, that we can still be educated, we can still be trained and learn new things.
She hopes to continue working in hospitality, but she'll be competing with 15,000 others. According to Stats Canada, more people are out of work or looking for a job in Windsor than anywhere else in the country.
Last year at this time, compared to this year at this time, we have done 15% more intakes. So we definitely have seen more people walk through our doors this year. 15% is quite a significant number.
Muir says January does trend upward for unemployment. She says it could be due to automotive layoffs, which can trickle down to feeder companies, a rise in students or seniors looking for work, and she says it's possible we're seeing a second wave of immigrant migration to the area.
We've got many employers looking for employees, and if people need training, if they need help with a resume, that's what we do here, and we're here to help them.
She says jobs in hospitality, tourism, and service are in demand. Earlier today, CBC spoke with Mayor Drew Dilkins, who says once the Gordie Howe Bridge and new hospital project ramp up, the number should go down. He says although he was surprised to see the number that high, he isn't too concerned about a one-month rise. Stacey Janzer, CBC News, Windsor.
A large European cruise line is planning trips around the Great Lakes with a stop right here in Windsor. Now, many are lauding the tourism boost that it could bring, but some are questioning the environmental toll.
Shipping, not only cruise ships, but shipping in general is really connected to a lot of exhaust gases. So ships run on really dirty fuel, and they don't have anything like exhaust gas cleaning systems on board because they don't have to. They are legally absolutely fine to run nothing like cars and trucks and buses. They all have cleaning systems on board, so particulate filters, nitrogen catalysts, but ships don't have to do that, and therefore they are really, really dirty, and they pollute the environment.
Now, as you saw there, the Detroit River is no stranger to cruise ships. It's become a destination spot in the last few years. The European company Viking Cruises is building two large 200-meter-long expedition ships that will sail here in 2022. It's now just over a month since Ukraine Airlines Flight 752 was shot down over Iran. 172 people died on that plane, including 5 people who were heading back to Windsor. The Iranian community held a vigil last night to honor their memory, still trying to come to grips with their great loss.
Iranian community in Windsor area is a very small community. We are talking about a population of 1,000 Iranian descent living in Windsor area. The loss of 5 of our friends had a big impact in our community. It brought the community together.
We just try to be in contact with the families and show them that they are not lonely. Even in this way, we feel that we are not lonely.
The community is also trying to raise money to help the families with funeral costs. A second government-chartered flight is on its way back from Wuhan, carrying 185 Canadians. The passengers will remain in quarantine in Trenton for 2 weeks, joining the first load of passengers at the Canadian Forces base. Now, Wuhan is the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. New numbers from China today announcing that 974 people have died from the virus. Now, the second highest concentration of cases outside the country is that quarantine cruise ship in Japan.
I think today was probably the most stressful day we've had. It was constant ambulances, fire trucks, Army personnel here. I am very afraid of getting sick, and so is my husband.
That's one of more than 250 Canadians who are on board the Diamond Princess, which has been under quarantine ever since it arrived in Yokohama last Monday. 65 new cases were reported today, including one Canadian, bringing the number of Canadians infected on board to 8. All those who test positive have been taken off the ship to hospital for treatment and monitoring. On the ship, passengers have been confined to their cabins, except for these brief moments where they're able to walk, wearing masks, and told to stay away from others. You're looking at the aftermath here of a park that's been destroyed, just one of a few fields. First, Stony Point Park in Lakeshore, and then also Micmac Park. Now, Coam Park in Essex County was also vandalized over the weekend. Hundreds of people are upset about it.
Disheartening, okay, that vandals would even, entertain something like that. I mean, this is a park, over the years has been for the youth. I grew up in this, in this neighborhood. That park's been a part of many people's lives over the last few decades.
The towns are still going through the damage, and it's not known yet how much repairs will cost. But the mayor of Lakeshore says that it will come out of the pockets of taxpayers. People are urged to contact police to report any suspicious activity that they might have seen. And those vandals, not the only one causing havoc in local parks. The town of Tecumseh recently recruited a new team to help control geese.
Come on. We've basically been hired with the dogs to come in to the park daily at random times of day and herd the geese out of the park. And the reason Border Collies are the dog of choice for this is because their herding behavior is different from any other breed of dog. They take on a body position that mimics a wild predator. And this is why they're so successful in sheep herding, is because the sheep are really intimidated by their body language and so will agree to move for them. And the same thing happens with the birds.
Now, she says that the geese problem at Lakewood Park is multiplying on an annual basis. The park is covered in droppings, and the geese are eating too much of the grass. Canada's women's basketball team is heading to the Olympics, thanks in part to some strong play from two local standouts. That's Windsor's Mia Marie Langlois with the steal and the bucket there. Canada taking on Japan Sunday. Chatham's Bridget Carlton in the number 6 uniform. They're also starting for Team Canada. The women swept the qualifying tournament and now are off to Tokyo. They're ranked 4th in the world. People were blown away during Josh Groban's concert at Caesars last night. Sure, Groban's great, pretty big deal, but there was a Michigan priest that stole the show.
Have you sung this song before? Kind of? Oh, who can say for certain? Go ahead. Who can say for certain? Maybe you're still here. I feel you all around me. Your memory is so clear.
What a moment there. Groban asked the crowd what song he should sing, and then that was when the surprise singer answered, asking if he could actually sing along. Just listen to that there. He went up on the stage, had a beautiful moment, which was captured on video here. On his way out, he yelled out that he's a Catholic priest. We've since learned that his name is Patrick Seto, a priest in Southfield, Michigan. Now, if Patrick Seto needs some musical advice or some help, he doesn't have to look far, where there's a young Windsorite who's been nominated for a Juno Award.
I started singing when I was 8, and I went to this little kids karaoke night at Castaway Bay, which is in America, and I sang Let It Go from Frozen, and I didn't really know I could sing or anything like that, but I sang it and everyone was like, wow, she's amazing.
She sure is. Crystal Lynn is part of a Toronto-based band called Girl Power, just 14 years old. They're nominated for Children's Album of the Year. The Junos is set for March 15th in Saskatchewan. Taking a look outside here at the Detroit River and the Ambassador Bridge. No snowflakes falling from the air, but we'll get a look at this week's forecast when Colette Kennedy joins us after the break. A vicious winter storm is blowing across the United Kingdom and Western Europe. 6 people have died with the weather to blame. Wow, you can just hear the wind there. Hurricane-force winds that have been threatening to push waves over coastal seawalls. And there's heavy rains that have caused extensive flooding, especially in northern England. Now, transportation's been brought to a standstill in several areas. The winds have been playing havoc with air travel. Just take a look at that plane there. My gosh, couldn't imagine being on that. And this has just been something that's disrupting flights, making them grounded in England, Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands. Outdoor sporting events like this one here. You've also had cancellations of events, including the Dutch Headwind Cycling Championship. We're going to bring in Colette Kennedy now. Just incredible to see the power of weather. I know that sometimes we joke about what's going on, about whether we have to shovel or not, but it's really important information of what people are dealing with here, eh?
Yeah, and that's just a massive storm, and primarily a windstorm causing all those different problems. My colleagues there in France at Meteo France reported wind gust over 150 kilometers an hour, and you were showing some of those flights there too, with the planes all over the place. Yeah, just had a massive impact on travel, and obviously there were some deaths and a lot of injuries as well. But one thing I will mention is that part of what enhanced that storm was the jet stream, it being so strong. And something it did that's unusual is it allowed a flight from New York, a few flights from New York City over to Heathrow to go faster than they ever had. In terms of, it's usually about a 5-hour flight, it's usually about a 6-hour and 15-minute flight, and those flights were going over in 5 hours because the jet stream and that tailwind they were getting was actually so strong. And that jet stream having an impact on us, not in that way, but it's been the weather, the track for active weather. So we're into a little bit of a break for a couple of days. Enjoy it. Temperatures to midweek are going to be mild, staying mild until things start to change Thursday, even Wednesday night, as this next system is going to move through because of that storm track, the jet stream bringing it into us. And then we'll see the temperatures really plummeting, some colder air than we've seen this season. Just to remind you, our average high just under the freezing mark and our average low around between -7 and -8. Today, we didn't even drop, so far anyway, we haven't even dropped below freezing between the low and the high from today. So there are your current temperatures. We're right at freezing now. Sarnia down to -1, and Chatham-Kent, you're still coming in at 1 degree. Certainly going to see the clouds continuing to thicken up as we go through the overnight hours. That's one of the things that we'll have, so that tomorrow we're going to see a little more cloud cover. But this system is staying to the south of us, but then that jet stream starts to pull the next one towards us. In between, we get high pressure. That's why it's still quiet as we go into Tuesday. No active weather, but very cold air to the north, this moisture to the south. These two are going to marry up as we get towards Wednesday night into Thursday. So it's going to come in as snow, and because this is likely going to stay the center of it to the south of us, and that cold air filtering in, it should stay as a snow event. So we may see some accumulations, 5 centimeters or more, and I'll keep honing that as we get closer. Then as we go into Thursday, we actually see this trying to push away, but we're likely still going to have some cloud cover, still have some flurries and some windy conditions as this passes through. And then that cold air is going to be plunging in. So enjoy the readings like this at -4 for an overnight low. That wind chill, yes, it's there, -9. And those winds are going to be picking up a little bit as we go towards tomorrow afternoon. So they'll be gusting towards 30, 40 kilometers an hour, but still 3 to 4 degrees for our highs. Yes, a little more cloud cover, but let's take a look at that 5-day forecast and how things are going to be changing. So into Wednesday, that's just one of those kind of changeover days, that cold air trying to make its way in, the moisture coming in. So overnight Wednesday, the snow begins. A snow event for Thursday, not going to be a good travel day, all right? -2, but then falling off to -13 or colder that night. And Friday's high, only -6, closer to where we should be for an overnight low. And again, Friday night into Saturday, some very cold air in place, Chris. So we're going to have to get a new mindset for that.
No, absolutely. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Speaking of mindset, take a look at this right here. This is about as cold as you can imagine when you take a peek at the lake here. This is Lake St. Clair. Pamela sent this one in. Absolutely beautiful photo for our weather photo of the day. Now, this is one of those things where you can send us along your picture on Facebook. If you go there, we also have, remember Jacob Barker, our new VJ that we have here? We're taking recommendations of places where he should check out since he's been here, so feel free to pop some suggestions there. For those weather photos, though, you can also take us on Instagram or Twitter at CBC Windsor for both of those. Big night in Hollywood with a Sarnia-born filmmaker nominated for an Oscar. We'll break down the winners and losers next. Sarnia-born filmmaker Sammy Kahn was waiting for his name to be called at the Oscars on Sunday, nominated for Best Short Documentary, but he lost. It did put his film St. Louis Superman back in the spotlight. Now, the award show fans were pleasantly surprised last night with the Oscar winner for Best Picture after years of being criticized for a lack of diversity. The CBC's Eli Glasner explains.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
And with that, Parasite made cinematic history. Never before in the 92-year history of the Academy Awards has a non-English language film won the Best Picture prize. But Parasite didn't just win one award. The South Korean thriller won 4, also taking home awards for Best International Film, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Director. Accepting the prize, director Bong Joon-ho paid tribute to the man who inspired him.
그 말을 하셨던 분이 누구였냐면 제 책에서 읽은 거였지만 예.
Thank you so much. When I was young and studying cinema, there was a saying that I carved deep into my heart, which is the most personal is the most creative.
그 말은 that quote was from our great Martin Scorsese. So
Indeed, if there was a theme last night, it was the power of films to unite audiences. From Penelope Cruz's tribute to international films to the collection of Elsa's singing Into the Unknown.
Może chcesz zbić mnie z tropu, żebym gdzieś zrobiła błąd. Była niเธอก็คล้ายกันและเข้าใจตัวฉันได้ดี
This year's Oscars had a particularly global outlook. And as Team Parasite accepted their fourth and final win, Parasite's producer said what many were feeling.
역사가 쓰여진 기분이 듭니다.
I feel like a very opportune moment in history is happening right now.
While the Oscars came into the awards under attack for the lack of diversity and equality in the nominations, voters seized the opportunity to celebrate a film from a director driven to tell his own story, a story with a surprisingly universal appeal.
Thank you. I will drink until next morning. Thank you.
Eli Glasner, CBC News, Los Angeles.
Well, if he's looking for a drink, there's a place in Cape Town, South Africa that could help him out. It's earned a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most varieties of milkshakes.
It exceeded my expectations so much. Like, I'm going to come here as soon as possible again to try out every single milkshake as far as I can.
Gibson's Gourmet Burgers and Ribs offers 207 different shakes, flavors ranging from chocolate and vanilla to some alcoholic varieties. I can't imagine that there's one that actually tastes like a burger or ribs. 6:29 p.m., that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for any updates on these stories, you can go to cbc.ca/Windsor. That's all we've got for you tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.